Bloody Countess, Elizabeth Bathory, the West's most legendary serial killer. One of history's most severe serial killers, Elizabeth Bathory, benefited from timing and nobility. Many believed Elizabeth used her position of power on her victims from the countryside without repercussions, and the weapons that she used were skewers, hot pokers, and bugs to torture and kill her victims. People have been wondering how she managed to be so bad without having a traceable record of her misdeeds during the time she committed these deaths. Thankfully, there was enough evidence at her trial in 1611 to estimate that the number was around 650 who were killed over a period of just 6 years. To this day, we will never know exactly how many people she killed. Bathed in blood. Elizabeth Bathory was born to Baron George VI Bathory of the Exed in 1560. It is believed that Anna Bathory suffered from epilepsy, a condition easy to inherit in cases of inbreeding. One treatment for seizures at the time involved blood being rubbed into the skin of the afflicted. Victims of this disease were fed healthy people's blood as a cure. Very little is known about Countess Elizabeth Bathory's upbringing, and there have been conflicting reports of what transpired in her later life. However, it is possible that her overly attentive parents and nurses really did feed her blood from various people. The sins of the father. Elizabeth Bathory followed in her father and mother's footsteps, as she loved torturing Hungarian peasants for minor infractions. She saw this done at an early stage in her life. She witnessed a Romani man who was accused of stealing sewn into the belly of a dying horse and left there until he died. This was done to show her how to treat people beneath her. This type of torture left an impression on Elizabeth. A young bride. On May 8, 1575, Elizabeth Bathory, at 15 years old, married Ferenc Nadasdy, the son of Hungarian statesman Baron Tamás Nadasdy, dynastad a Fogarasfold. Ferenc Nadasdy's ranking was much lower than Elizabeth's, so he was required to take her last name. The couple moved to Szegedy Castle in the Little Carpathians, where Elizabeth took care of business affairs and estates while her husband participated in the 13 Years' War. Elizabeth gave birth to 4 children and a rumored 5th child. A young widow. Nadasdy passed away in 1604 from an illness. Elizabeth did whatever she wanted to do. Many believe that Countess started bringing her victims into her castle so that Elizabeth would do what she wanted to do with them. Some of her victims were young ladies who were sent to her by their parents or the headmasters of their boarding schools. They would learn manners and etiquette. Others were simply poor women who had been lured onto a false pretense, grabbed from the side of the road, or snatched from their villages. Elizabeth was accused of beating her victims, chewing their flesh from their faces, burning with hot tongs, and covering them with honey before putting live ants to feast on their skin. Many believe that her servants were ordered out some of the murders for her while she watched or ate the flesh from the victims. Their bodies were put in unmarked cemeteries, grain silos, and churchyards. Rumors speculated that Elizabeth loved to bathe in the blood of young girls. Red-handed. In 1610, the Archduke of Austria and King of Hungary appointed Grigory Thurzo started investigating the mad noblewoman Elizabeth. A year later, Thurzo and 2 helpers interviewed 300 people who told them extreme stories about what was happening at the Bathory estate. All of their testimonies were different, with some people claiming they knew girls who had been killed and others saying they'd heard rumors about women getting tortured from other sources. There were hundreds of testimonies collected, which was more than enough to arrest Bathory and 4 of her servants who were believed to be accomplices with her. Thurzo stated that he caught Bathory in the middle of torturing someone. Many still don't know if this is true or not. He told the public that she was caught red-handed. No trial, some tribulation. After her servants were arrested, there was no trial for Bathory. Her accomplices were sentenced to death, but she wasn't booked or tried because her family wanted to keep the scandalous arrest secret. It was never proven that she killed anyone, but there was no doubt that she treated her servants cruelly, so she was punished. No one really knows what happened to Bathory. Thurzo stated that she was confined to her chambers, while priests stated she was able to move freely throughout her home. She passed away on August 21st, 1614, and was buried in the church of Szegedy before her remains were moved to the Bathory family crypt at Exed in Hungary. Conclusion. Elizabeth is often remembered for her alleged connection with Dracula. She became popular as a notorious serial killer, and her story was made famous after she unleashed havoc on many. That is what many know her as, but today her story is still a mystery. Don't forget to like, comment down below, and subscribe.